Learning the Seerah, it will teach you. Sometimes there is people who write caricature about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Until today, he have enemies, and that's the greatness of somebody who dies 1400 years ago. He still have enemy today. It's amazing. That's another sign of how powerful man that 1400 years ago until today he has some few people that they write. By studying the Seerah, you have the intention. Your intention is to defend the Prophet. But how can you defend the Prophet if you don't even sit down and come and study and spend 45 minutes to study the Prophet? The other intention is to imitate him, to make him as an example. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, لَقَدْ كَانَتْ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. It is on the Prophet Muhammad, it was a model for the human being. It was a model for you. How are you going to take the Prophet Muhammad as a model if you do not? And تَتَعَلَّمَ كَيْفَ تَتَعَامَلَ مَعَ النَّاسِ. You are going to learn in the Seerah. This is your intentions now. Look how much intention you can have. How to deal with people. How to deal with your enemy, how to deal with your wife, with your children, how to deal with situations that they are tough. When you are poor, how to deal. The Prophet was poor. The Prophet is an orphan. The Prophet born as an orphan. His mother died when he was 6 years old. What kind of a situation that the Prophet went through? None of us has been through like the Prophet. Any situation you have in your life, tell me, I will tell you the Prophet has worse than you. And then when you tell me I was rich, the Prophet one time, he was the most richest person in Medina. Yes, in Hunayn, you see this bottle and all this gold and money come to the Prophet. And he starts giving for sadaqah. Here you go, here you go. Until one man, he went to his tribe. He says, Ya qawmi, O my people, aslimu, فَإِنَّ مُحَمَّدًا يَعْطِي كَمَنْ لَا يَخْشَى الْفَقْرَ. Come and become Muslim. Muhammad, he's giving sadaqah, same like somebody he does not afraid from poverty. And then the people, the whole tribes come. Why? The Prophet giving them, here you go. The whole valley of camels for you. The whole valley of this goat is for you. The whole money for you. He gives everybody, whatever. So you will deal how when you are rich, when you are poor, when his wife died, when he get, and so on and so on. And تعرف, you know what you are going to learn also in the Seerah? You are going to learn the miracles of the Prophet. You know how many miracles? Some ulama, they say, Qurtubi and Nawawi, I looked at this, there is 1,000 miracles. We're not talking about the Quran. The Quran is a miracle. It is a living miracle forever. There is miracles that the Prophet ﷺ said or performed. They up to 1,000 miracles. For example, I give you one thing. The Prophet was making migration from Mecca to Medina. When he was coming from Mecca and Medina, Meccan people, the leaders, they says 100 naqa if somebody bring the Prophet Muhammad life or death. So all the kuffar, the enemy, they was trying to catch the Prophet and return it to Mecca, life or death, he's gonna get a big prize. Seerah ibn Malik, he's the only one who managed to get close to the Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet, he's going and he's just reading the Quran. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq is behind him, he's coming after him, he's coming this. And then he says, Ya Abu Bakr, what are you afraid? He says, Ya Rasulullah, I'm afraid of you. I come to the back and I'm watching from the Prophet doesn't even look, he just goes straight. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq is worried. The Prophet Muhammad is comfortable. Going. He says, Ya Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, what are you worried about? He says, Ya Rasulullah, I'm afraid somebody comes from the back, I go to the back. And then when I'm afraid somebody comes from the front, I go to the front. He says, Ya Abu Bakr, would you sacrifice your soul for my soul? He says, Wallahi, Ya Rasulullah, myself, my family, everything for your safety, Ya Rasulullah. Seerah ibn Malik, he turned. Abu Bakr said, turn, he found Seerah ibn Malik coming with the horse. And he saw the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. By the time he gets so close, his horse, this is true, it's a miracle. The horse sank into the sand. And then Seerah, Ya Muhammad, he didn't say Rasulullah because he's not Muslim. Later on, he became Muslim. At the time of Umar ibn Khattab, he says, Ya Muhammad, please, forgive me. Then he comes back. Then he starts running after him. Then he sang 3 times. He says, Ya Muhammad, I came all the way here after you. And I know that you are mamnu', you are forbidden. Nobody can touch you. He said, but give me something that I can tell my generation that he was so powerful and strong to get that level. And I saw this miracle, my horse, and I know that you are protected. You are protected. No one can get you. But I get something. He says, Ya Abu Bakr, write for him. He says, Ya Surah, the Persians and the Romans, one day, they are going to lose with the Muslims. And I'll see you with the braces of gold from the Romans and the Persians. He says, write it for me and sign it. Abu Bakr Siddiq from Muhammad and sign it, put it in his pocket. It stays with him until the Khilafah of Umar ibn Khattab. When the Muslims conquered the Persians and the Romans, and they get the gold and they divide it, and Umar ibn Khattab, he says, Ayna Surah ibn Malik? Where is Surah ibn Malik? Come here. He says, you remember when the Prophet ﷺ gave you a letter, a contract? This is 3, 4, 5 years before. Actually more, I'm sorry. 10 years in Medina plus 3 years, 13 years. 13 years, the Prophet was actually, the people are after him. And he is nothing, just sitting on the desert. And he's telling him, you are going. One of the miracles that you are going to learn, that the people of Mecca people, they say, Ya Muhammad, another miracle. Wallahi, we will never believe on you. This is increase your iman. These miracles you are going to see, it will increase. They say, we will never believe on you, O Muhammad, until you split the moon on 2 pieces. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ made dua to Allah, and the moon was split asunder in 2 pieces. One on the east, on the mountain, there's a mountain here, 1/2 of the moon in this side, and the other half on this side. And the people still, because the Quraysh people, only maybe actually about 8 or 10, there was so few people who believed. On 10 years, there was no more than 80 people actually who believed in the Prophet. In 10 years of da'wah, less than 10 years who believed in the Prophet ﷺ. There was few people here and here, and torture and stuff. So the Meccan people, and that's why the Prophet ﷺ, he said, I was given victory by the youth. The majority of the Meccan people at the time, they was like the old people. And when the old people got hold onto the faith, they hard for them to change. That's why we need in our society the young people to understand. They are fresh. So the Prophet ﷺ asked Allah to split the moon. The moon was split, and the Quraysh people, they came, they said, Ya Muhammad, you have performed witchcraft and magic in our eyes. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, how can you say this? They said, give us a proof. He says, what kind of a proof? They said, listen, Ya Muhammad, there is a caravan. It cannot be here. The Prophet ﷺ told them, there is a caravan in the desert, is traveling to Mecca. And it will be here in 2 weeks from today. There is a caravan that the people traveling, they are not here with us, but they are coming 2 weeks walking or traveling. They will be here such and such day. The Prophet gives them the exact date that this people will be here. And Jibreel alayhi salam actually, he told him, right before Maghrib, like 2 minutes before Maghrib, somebody stood at the mountain and he says, Kadaba Muhammad lied, there is no caravan. Another person stood from the other side of the mountain, he says, Sadaqa Muhammad, the caravan is here. Now the caravan comes exactly 2 weeks as the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ predicted. And this is all the miracles of the Prophet ﷺ. When they came, then the Prophet asked them, and the Meccan people, they asked them, have you ever seen, have you saw the moon that was split in 2 pieces? They say, yes. فَقَالَ the kuffar they was really stubborn. They say, the magic of Muhammad has spread, widespread. This is Allah says, اقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر. Today, there is a person who actually in England, about 10 years ago, he became Muslim because of this verse. He was reading the Quran and he opened the Quran right there. Somebody gave it to him for so many years. He was a boxer. For 10 years the Quran was sitting on the shelf. He says, one day I took the Quran, I read it, and I found اقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر. The Seerah, which is the end of the time, has drawn near, and the moon has split in 2 pieces. In Shaqq al-Qamar, we crack. And then the guy was actually reading this verse, and 2 days later or 3 days later, he was watching a documentary about the people talking about that the moon actually in such and such time was actually spread and cracked, and there is a line actually that you can see it. There is a video on it. There is not video, there is pictures that the moon actually was cracked. Go Google and study this. The Prophet mentioned this 1400 years ago, that the moon has been actually split. Ibn al-Qayyim, so those are the intentions that you're going to have when you study the seerah of the Prophet. You have intentions that you make to learn about the Prophet, to love the Prophet Muhammad, to study the ilm, the knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you for, to learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to learn about His miracles. Those are the intentions that when we sit here, we have. Ibn al-Qayyim, Ibn al-Jawzi said, it's the only person in the world that it's the more you talk about, the more you love him, and the more you want to meet with him. If you have any person that you like, after a while, when you meet that person and you sit with him and you talk with him, you get bored. He says, except the Prophet Muhammad. The more that the Sahaba, they get closer to him, the more they love him, the more they respect him. We already talked about this. Qissat Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl. It's another amazing story about the adl and the power of the Prophet ﷺ when he deals with his enemy. You remember what we said? There are only two things that a person is known of his high moral character: when he is extremely angry and when he deals with his enemy. Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl, his father is the Fir'aun of the Ummah. His father was the severe enemy to the Prophet. Imagine his son. For 20 years, Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl was actually with his father together against the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Now when the Prophet conquered Mecca and he entered and he said there is nobody should be touched, nobody should be harmed, only few people, and one of them was Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl. And this Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl, the weapon, the sword, he had a factory that he makes sword and he sell them to the people. That's why he was a war. He was like a commander. Now when the Prophet conquered Mecca, he ran to Jeddah and he's ready to actually suicide. He got ready into the water. One of his uncles, just to show you how this is amazing, which is Gharaib al-Ajaib, you see. And the story is Sahih. One of his nephew, he ran to Jeddah and he begged him. He said, listen, if you don't know the Prophet Muhammad. He says, no. If he sees me, he's going to kill me. I am his enemy for 20 years. He says, no. If you go to him, he says, no. He says, I'm going to go back to him. From Jeddah, he go all the way back to Mecca. He says, Ya Rasulullah, Ikrimah, can you give him protection for 1 month? So he can get his stuff done and do things. He can't live like this. He's a noble man. The Prophet ﷺ, he looked, he says, okay, I give him 1 month. Nobody will touch him. Asylum. In this. This is the enemy that wanted to kill the Prophet many times. So the Prophet ﷺ, he told his nephew, he's okay. He's protected for 1 month. He can live in Mecca with us, with the Muslims, and do his things. No Muslim will touch him. Nobody will harm him, and live with the Muslims for 1 month. So he went all the way so excited to tell Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl. He told him, the Prophet gives you 1 month. You okay? He says, Wallahi, it's never true. He couldn't conceive this. How could this person will do this? This is the called akhlaq al-anbiya. He says the moral character of prophets. He cannot be. This will actually make him Muslim. Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl become a Muslim and die as a Muslim. That's why never lose hope on people. When you see somebody, anybody, he's a potential Muslim. Anybody, no matter how hard. The guy who actually wrote from Netherlands, he wrote about the caricature of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. I forgot his name. He went actually, later on, he studied about the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He accepted Islam. He went all the way to Medina. I saw him. I saw his video. He went all the way to the Medina and he went to the grave of the Prophet. He says, Ya Rasulullah, please forgive me. This is the worst enemy of Islam. Sometimes they become the best. Umar ibn Khattab, you are going to learn how he became Muslim. He was the worst enemy to the Muslims. And then Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl, he's the worst. Now he couldn't understand that the Prophet gave him 1 month. Are you serious? He says, I don't believe this. He says, what can I do? This is serious. The Prophet never break his promise. He says, give me some alama, give me some sign. His nephew went all the way to Mecca, and he says, Ya Rasulullah, Ikrimah didn't believe this. He needs a sign. You know what he did? He gave him imama. You know, like imama, the imama, the turban of the Prophet Muhammad. Everybody knows this turban. So he took the turban, ran all the way to Jeddah, and he found that Ikrimah is about to suicide on the water. It's amazing, Seerah. No one can do this. These people who says Muhammad is thirsty, bloodthirsty and stuff. And the Seerah, you know that this is a false allegation. It's not true. Rahmatan lil alameen. Allah didn't say that just like that. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We have not sent you but a mercy to mankind. This is mercy. When he saw the imamah, he says, there is no doubt. He took his horse and he entered to Makkah, Ikrimah. This is the tough. You study the Seerah. This is the tough enemy to the Prophet Muhammad. So because the Prophet said when he went actually to Makkah, he forgave everybody except this guy. He said, this guy there is no. But now, when he begged him and he asked for a month, and then he saw the turban, and the Prophet, he says, it's okay. No hatreds. When it comes to Islam, you don't really have that. To be a true believer, Allah, you have to have that kind of a heart that he actually really forgive people. That's why the Prophet says, Al-Mu'minu Shadidul Ghadab Sari'ul Rida. He says a believer is easy to get mad or angry, aggravated, but it's easy to be pleased. You can tell him, brother, I'm sorry. Samihtuka ya akhi, forgive you. It's easy like that, but some people, no, don't talk to me for 3 years, come back 3 years later, forgive me, no, you have done such and such. The Prophet said, then what is the signs that you are a believer? It means you accept, easy to be pleased. Somebody just tell you, smile, please forgive me. Oh yeah, you got it. It's not was your fault. It's not even was your fault. That's a sign that you are a believer. But when you're stubborn and you hold to your enmity and your grouch and your heart for somebody, no. So the Prophet said that Ikrimah, he came to Makkah, still didn't believe. He went, he says, what time they pray Asr? Or what? He came for, I think, Asr. And then the Prophet finished Salat al-Assalamu alaikum, salamu alaikum. Ikrimah is standing by outside the masjid. Ya Muhammad, did you truly give my nephew the month? He says, we give you 2 months. Uqsimu billah. He says, we give you 2 months asylum. You live with the Muslim. After that one, he become Muslim. Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl. And he died as a Muslim. This is amazing. The worst enemy. So those are you will learn Ubayy, Abdullah ibn Ubayy ibn Salul, the head of the Nifaq in Medina. Those are the worst. Still have time, I'm sorry. But any question before? Maybe something or just keep going. Are you enjoying?
Yeah, of course.